Well, hello everyone again. Welcome back, Melamed community. We are excited to talk with you a little bit today about mental health. Of course, July is Minority Mental Health Month, so we thought this would be a good opportunity for us to delve a little bit more into that. I don't know if you know this, Norma, but the House of Representatives stated that they gave this month a name, more than Minority Mental Health Month, but it is the B.B. Moore Campbell Minority Mental Health Month. Now they're trying to take away those names, anything that has to do with what they would think is DEI. I'm sure you're familiar with the author, B.B. Moore Campbell. She did a lot around mental health and the stigma of mental health. And really the first time I ever really understood about what bipolar disorder was, it was reading her book called 72-Hour Hold. I don't know if you've ever read it.
No, I've not.
If you get a chance, you need to read this book. All of you out there need to read this book. And what she did through that novel was to give us all a look into what a family goes through when they have someone who is bipolar or diagnosed with schizophrenia. And for the novel is around this mother who is dealing with a daughter who has these diagnoses, and all the things that went on for her to try to get her in treatment, finding her on the streets, all the risk-taking kind of things that went on. And her really trying to look even in the fringes of what can I really do to help my daughter. And it was all based on her real life experience as being a daughter of a mother who had this disorder. So beyond that, though, one of her big things was to get out in communities and really talk about it when nobody was talking about it. So I love that they've named it that. They've given it in her honor. And again, I hope they continue to keep it in her honor. But we know how things are going these days in terms of recognizing something that has a minority slant for some reason. But we still need to recognize
and be aware.
Yeah, that our communities are affected. Probably more than we know, because we are still in that silence. Silence is golden.
And the thing about the awareness and being educated is allowing you to get better.
Yes.
I just had a conversation with my father not too long ago talking about post-traumatic stress.
Ooh.
And he began to reflect back. He was watching a documentary, and in the process of watching that documentary, he kept seeing his older brother, who, remembering when he came back from World War II, fighting in World War II, coming back to Arkansas, and how his temperament was so different. And he was more volatile.
Yes.
And began to turn towards alcohol, which we know is self-medicating.
Right.
But he did end up opening his own business and all. But he said he was able to reflect back and think, wow, my brother probably saw a lot of horrific things that caused trauma for him. It was never addressed.
Right.
Then returning back to the United States and experiencing that trauma of what was going on with Jim Crow and those sort of things.
Right.
And he recognized that, maybe there was really something wrong with my Uncle Charlie. It never got addressed.
Right. Well, a lot of us in our communities, sometimes we'll talk about, everybody's got a crazy Uncle Joe. And nobody, but he's just a little off. That's what we say. There's somebody that's a little off. But what's causing them to be off, and how do we address that better? And, and the same thing with us in medicine,
Right.
And every person
Right.
can have this. And sometimes I think folks look at us as different. We're outside of that, or we should be able to take care of ourselves differently. So can't be that my doctor has any issues, but
Right.
we're like regular people. Yeah.
You know, oftentimes you'll hear people say, when you select your hairdresser, look at what her hair looks like. If her hair is looking a hot mess, you probably don't want to go to that stylist. Right. Well, the same should be about when you're seeking your healthcare provider. You want to make sure that they are a healthy individual. And one of the ways that we can be, well in our entirety is making sure that our mental well-being is up to par. A lot of times within our community, there's so much taboo about seeking therapy. They'll say, oh, I'm not crazy. No, it doesn't mean you're crazy. Oh, just pray about it. There's a place for prayer and spirituality, but much like this book right here talks about the garden within and the way we were made by our Creator, there is a place for mental well-being and therapy.
Right. Yeah. And we've talked about how it can take on different different ways that we can address our mental health, right? My kids get on me all the time because they love to talk about therapy, and I'll tease them. They think I'm not teasing, but I was like, y'all need therapy. I don't need therapy. And they're like, Lord, Mama, that when you say it like that, you really need therapy. But what you need is a way to deal with things. And I'm learning more and more of all these wonderful ways that we can address our mental health that I just never entertained. And so recently I was at a conference for one of my ladies' organizations, and I was responsible with some other ladies for a health pavilion. And in this health pavilion, we had a section that was a mental wellness section. And it happens that one of the ladies that's in my organization does this for a living. She decided to bring all of her knowledge in for our ladies to experience. And I didn't know what the wellness area would look like, but it was all of these things that I didn't think about as ways to protect my peace, right? So yeah, traditional massage chair was there, but I didn't know about the oxygen. So we had an oxygen bar. We had a red light therapy. You put on these glasses, and the red light,
like infrared.
Infrared.
Okay.
That helps to calm your mind and get your endorphins going. They had earphones there where you could do some meditation.
Okay.
There, and then there was this little, I don't know what you would call it. It was like a something you stood on, and it vibrated your body, and that vibration helped to get your body in.
Oh wow!
In line. So all these things you don't know about as ways of calming yourself, bringing yourself back to peace. So if you are still, I don't need no therapy, there are other things that
we all have tension. We all have tension that needs to be released.
Right. So you need to find all these wonderful ideas. Even what the Asian population does a really a big thing around reflexology in your feet. The pressure points and all of that. Acupuncture. All of these are great tools that we can use. For those of you who are like me, who don't need no therapist. How about that?
But we all need some kind of therapy.
Right.
And like we've talked about this before, that speaking with your friends is one way of getting that out. You go have that wine time.
Yes.
Not so much whining, but a little sip, and then
sip.
and conversation.
And what is our saying now about something in bloom?
Oh, breathe, balance, and bloom.
And when you're looking, I was just thinking about the bloom, but just taking a moment to smell the roses or smell the flowers, to walk in, as my daughter likes to do.
Appreciating nature.
Yeah, walk outside in your bare feet in the grass, just to feel that under you.
So we had a conference recently within our chapter, and we had a speaker on mindfulness, and she spoke about walking meditation.
Yes.
And I was like, I've always thought about walking meditation, meaning going for a walk and meditate. But no, you have a set distance.
Yes.
And you focus
Right.
on where you are,
Right.
and concentrate on your body,
Yes.
what you're feeling, and you pace, walk back and forth in a set distance.
Okay.
Not going for a destination walk,
Okay.
which is what I always
Right.
thought it was about.
Yeah.
But no, walking meditation is just walking back and forth in one set place. So I decided to do it. Our conference was by the beach.
Right.
And so
nice.
I did it during sunrise.
Oh,
And it really
bet
set
that
the
was
tone
beautiful.
of relaxation for the rest of that day.
wow. Yeah, I like that. I remember with the same group that I'm with, we have a day that we walk called Walk for Healthy Living. And I had the chaplain of our organization to work with me on what that might look like. And she devised something that was sort of like that. She had where every so many feet that you walk, you stop, close your eyes, and then opened your eyes to see what you see, what you hear. So you were listening for the birds. You were looking to see, oh, I'm looking at a tree, but what more am I seeing on that tree? I'm seeing the leaves. I'm seeing moss. I'm seeing.
Right.
So it was noticing things around you. And then you would walk some more. You stop. You close your eyes and open your eyes and see what you see. If you saw a dog there, what do you notice about that dog other than that it's a dog, So yeah, all of these things help to clear your mind, help you to see better, and just are things I've never thought about.
And then you will rest better.
Then
And you feel more rejuvenated when you're getting ready to start the next day versus staying busy all the time.
Right, right.
And not taking time to recognize all the beautiful things in your surroundings.
So I think it's similar to what we talk about in medicine of preventative care. We want people to come in when they're well, so they stay well. So this whole idea of mental wellness, I think is so important. You do these things to help get a habit of caring for yourself. And then it gives us the ability to recognize when we're not well.
Right.
And we need more. Very, very important.
And you keep making reference to your children, but I feel like the younger generation does a far better job at this than we do.
Much better.
We're the ones who need to change our habits.
Yes. I just don't want them to know that. But yes, it's true. And I laugh when they say that, because I go back and say, they really are right, but I'm not
Right.
I'm not going to give it to them yet. But yes, it's I've learned so much from them and how they try to be peaceful and try to find ways to make sure that they are attentive to when they're not feeling their best. And so you're right, they do a much better job at that than we do.
Right.
And especially when we're in these really high profile jobs like medicine, where we are so much caring for others that we don't do the proper care for ourselves. We have to find these things. That's just a lovely idea. I'm going to try that, of getting up at sunrise. And
Well, you get up at sunrise. You get up
I
before
know I'm up
sunrise,
anyway, but I'm just drinking coffee and scrolling. But I could actually go outside and walk, and I'm not much on the walking to a destination. I like that. Just walk a certain
walking
mountain.
meditation. Yes.
That's something different to think about for me, that it doesn't feel painful. When I think about it, I gotta go, walk. The further I walk, the further I gotta walk back. So if I don't have to go as far, but I can add that piece, that's good. I like that. So we just wanted to take that time to talk about our wellness as a community of Melamed and our community as
Minorities.
folks, and the ways that we can think about really improving our ability to care for ourselves before it becomes an issue. And when it becomes an issue, or if it becomes an issue, that we know what to do to help ourselves be better.